Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca and today we are going to be talking about giving our plants braces. So as we are familiar with, braces throughout our life, on our teeth, on our legs, on our arms, are meant to keep things straight that are naturally curved or crooked, and this is something that you can also do for your plants. I am a huge advocate for moss poles and tying your plants to the moss pole so that they can grow up the moss pole. This plant right here is basically my poster child for that argument because let me show you something very interesting. So as you can see, we have leaves down here, which are cute. They're a good size, I suppose, but they are still pretty small. So there was a point when the plant about right here, you can see this root right here, this root attached to its old moss pole, and from there it started growing first this leaf, which is significantly larger than these bottom leaves here, and then it started growing leaves like this one. So let's talk about another reason that your plants might need braces. So plants will default to doing whatever they want unless you train them to do something else. So sometimes with monsteras and other epiphytes, you will find that they just kind of spread out unless they are being trained to do something specific. And that is something that I really don't enjoy about plants. I like for my plants to be very organized and upright. But this is a plant that I kind of recently am seeing the results of those braces and I wanted to share with you. So for this plant, let's say that I gave it braces, like teeth braces, you know what I mean? So when I first started out tying this plant to this moss pole, I had to put the ties on really loosely because I didn't want to create a strain in the stems or stress the plant out or snap something or hinder new growth. So every few days I would check on the plant and see how it was doing, and then as time went on I would slowly tighten up the ties that I had on the bottom here. That slow progression was exactly what the plant needed to get into this position because like I said, you don't want to do it too fast, but you definitely want to make sure that your plants stay under control. Today I thought that I would do the same process on this plant. So I'll first start out by saying that I use these plant velcro pieces. They come in really big rolls like this, and I genuinely think I will never run out of this unless I just like triple my collection, because these are the best plant ties because they're reusable. So this is a cut that was from a previous plant, and so was this, and I'm going to be using both of these strips on this plant right here. And the reason that I can reuse them is because they are a much thicker material. Like this is pretty consistent with Velcro and it is very strong. Let me show you, let me put that together. It creates a really strong bond. And so that will pretty much ensure that once you tie up the plant, it will stay that way. In order to do this, you need to tether the plant to something. So I made this moss pole here. This is a moss pole made out of sphagnum moss and clear netting and a bamboo pole. I have made videos where I show you the process of making this before. I will have that link down below. It's actually the video where I made this one into the beauty that it is. So I will have that link down below so you can go check that out and see the making process, but it is quite simple and I think really anyone can do it. What you want to do is make sure that there is a little bit of empty bamboo stick underneath. I have never had issues with bamboo rotting in the soil. It does take on a darker color, but it's not because it's rotting. I think it's really just because it's being stained by the soil. If you were to use something else, I would suggest perhaps a garden stake, but I would definitely suggest against using just sticks from your backyard or something like that because those will definitely rot in the soil. So let's get started putting this plant in braces. I'm going to dig it into the soil very gently, and you want to make sure that you're gentle so that you don't disturb the roots too much. I would say that if you hit a root, it's not the end of the world. It's gonna be okay. A lot of people are just very gentle on their plants and they don't really realize how resilient they are. And I don't say this telling you that you should be like really rough with your plants all the time, but I'm just saying you could probably be a little bit rougher and it would be totally fine. The plant is naturally just sort of laying down, and it actually is already growing in an upward motion, which is really good. So I'm going to just encourage it to continue to do that. I'm going to place the already existing aerial roots inside of the pole just so that it knows and it's there and it starts receiving that moisture. So I'm taking this tie right here and I'm going to just gently secure this to the pole. There's definitely room in here. I can put my finger through it. It's not really that tight at all. Can you see me? It's not tight at all. It's just there to securely hold on to the plant. So the next tie I'm going to do is going to reinforce this aerial root inside of the pole. So I'm going to wrap that around right there, gently of course. These ties are just the right length for that, so there you go. And then I'm going to do another one up here. And what I'm going to do in this situation, you can see that it is sort of curving. I'm going to just pull it this way, just sort of try to pull it and train it. Hopefully this aerial root that's kind of off to the side right now will dig in, but we will have to see. So now that you have situated the running stem all the way up, now we need to think about these leaves right here. So you can see that these are sticking out and they're not that bad, but I do have fears that if I let it kind of stay the way that it is, that they would continue to like drop, also depending on the type of light that they're getting. But I want to secure those upwards so that these leaves will face down like this and just show their faces a bit more. You can see that this one is just facing straight up, and that's probably because of the light that it's receiving right now. The light is kind of behind the plant, so it is kind of like doing this, looking back at the light. So I'm going to take some longer ties. So I'm cutting longer pieces now because this is where the bracing really comes in. So we definitely do not want to pull these too tight because that could result in snapping a leaf on accident, and we really don't want to do that. You can see that there's a little bit of give with this leaf. So I'm going to grab a neighboring leaf, which is this one right here, and I'm going to pull them up until I feel that it is just a little bit too much resistance. So I'm gonna say about right here. So I'm gonna pull that tie around, and with that, it's probably gonna grab this leaf too. So I'm just going to pull them in. As long as this tie is loose, it should not stress out the plant in any way. The only leaf that looks like it is really being pushed is this one right here. You can see that the curve is going back up, but it is not looking like it's going to be in a negative way. It looks like it's going to be perfectly fine with this new situation with time. You got to give your plants a little bit of time to adjust. What I'm going to do next is secure this leaf down here by just adding another piece of velcro onto this piece of velcro. So I'm just gonna get a little short one, and then I'm going to grab this. And this one, I don't want to pull it too hard and disturb it, so I'm just going to add this onto the already existing brace right here. And there you go. So it looks funny right now. As you can see, it looks very strange. Some of the leaves are upside down, but with time, it will all lay out like this, especially depending on the light that you give it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to face this towards the light directly, and then in time, they will all do a little bit of this. So before I go, I want to show you one more use of plant ties that I have found to be especially effective with syngoniums. So syngoniums do tend to splay out when they get heavy because they are climbing plants, and if they're not climbing something or crawling on something, they do just kind of do whatever they want. As I said at the beginning of the video, these plants just have minds of their own. So what I have done with this plant right here, you can see that this is like very, very big, and it's very beautiful. I always forget how beautiful this plant is, but what I have done is I have put an extra long tie at the bottom right here. You can see that is very long, and it just sort of allows the plant to stay upright like this, like a bouquet, rather than kind of out and about. And the tie was a little bit loose when I just pulled it out, so I am going to tighten it quite a bit, but it just allows the plant to stay upright. If you don't have the space for a big trellis, this plant would need like an insane trellis, and I just don't want to do that. But I feel like when I have it like this, it looks so beautiful, and I really like it like that. So with all of that being said, I'm gonna trim off some dead leaves, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like and how I kind of put a bra on this plant, if you will, put some braces on this plant. I'm going to just grab all of these leaves. I'm not letting a leaf get in the mix because if I did that, the leaf would probably get ruined. You can't really see what I'm doing. So once you have that all situated, you put that tie around, and you gotta kind of pull tight, especially if it's a syngonium with as many leaves as this one. The once unruly plant is now neat and organized, and much more of a bush up here than a bush like all around here. That's another way that I put braces on my plants, and I hope that one of these methods will help you out in keeping your plants nice and tidy. All right, you guys, that's all I have for this video. I really hope that you enjoyed and learned something new today. If you do end up putting braces on your plants or anything like that, I would love for you to comment down below your experience. If you're not already, make sure that you're subscribed to my channel for more fun plant content like this, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!